Welcome back to World Numismatic Finds, where everyday pocket change meets hidden history. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of UK Sixpence coins, spotlighting a greedy, eye-catching comparison of 5 standout years: the 1953 sixpence in fine condition, 1963 in good condition, 1954 in circulating condition, 1966 with a little dirt, and the 1966 pence showing gentle fading. These coins may look ordinary at first glance, but to collectors across the UK, they carry stories, scarcity, and surprising value potential. Stick with us as we reveal the top 5 rare sixpence coins, comparing condition, history, and collector demand, because one of these classic silver treasures could be worth far more than you think. Let's get started up with the 1953 UK sixpence. Is one of those classic British coins that instantly captures attention, not just for its age but for the story it carries. Struck in the year of Queen Elizabeth II's coronation, this coin represents a turning point in British history, a moment when the nation was stepping into a new era after the hardships of the post-war years. Holding a 1953 sixpence in fine condition feels like holding a small but powerful symbol of renewal, tradition, and continuity, which is exactly why collectors around the world continue to search for well-preserved examples today. Looking at the coin itself, the head side proudly displays the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, designed by Mary Gillick. This first definitive effigy of the Queen is highly admired for its elegance and simplicity, reflecting the optimism of the early 1950s. On the reverse, the traditional Tudor rose takes center stage, flanked by the date 1953, symbolizing unity and the deep roots of British heritage. The design is bold yet refined, and when found in fine condition, the details of the rose and lettering remain crisp, adding greatly to the coin's desirability. Beyond its appearance, the cultural and historical value of the 1953 sixpence is what truly sets it apart. This coin was in circulation during a time of national celebration, with coronation events taking place across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. Sixpence coins were commonly associated with everyday life, from Christmas puddings to wedding traditions, giving this particular issue a strong emotional connection for many collectors. That blend of history, culture, and nostalgia plays a major role in the strong demand we see for this coin today. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1953 sixpence was struck in a copper-nickel alloy and weighs approximately 2.83 grams. Its small size often surprises new collectors, yet its significance far outweighs its modest dimensions. Key facts that continue to attract attention include its coronation year status, the first portrait of Elizabeth II, and the enduring popularity of pre-decimal British coinage. While millions were originally minted, far fewer survive today in genuinely fine condition, making quality examples increasingly sought after. Rarity is where condition makes all the difference, and a 1953 sixpence in fine condition stands well above average circulated examples. Coins showing minimal wear, strong lettering, and a clear portrait are far harder to find than many people realize. As a result, collector interest remains strong, particularly from buyers who focus on coronation issues and early Elizabeth II coinage. This sustained interest has helped push market values steadily upwards over time. When it comes to current market value, a 1953 UK sixpence in fine condition can realistically attract prices in the hundreds when demand is high. In the UK market, collectors may pay around £250 to £450, written clearly as £250 up to £450, depending on eye appeal and overall preservation. In dollar terms, this places the coin roughly in the range of $310 to $560, which further highlights its international appeal and growing recognition beyond the UK. For collectors, the key advice is to focus on authenticity, condition, and proper storage. Keeping the coin protected from moisture and excessive handling can help preserve its value, while learning to recognize original surfaces will always pay off in the long run. With demand continuing to rise for historic British coins, especially those tied to major royal milestones, the 1953 sixpence remains a strong and appealing choice. To conclude, the 1953 UK sixpence is far more than just a small pre-decimal coin. It is a historic coronation year piece, rich in cultural meaning and steadily growing in value. With its elegant design, strong collector demand, and impressive market prices reaching into the hundreds, this coin continues to prove that even the smallest denominations can carry remarkable worth. For collectors and enthusiasts alike, the 1953 sixpence stands as a timeless reminder of Britain's royal and numismatic heritage. At number 2, sixpence from 1963, a classic pre-decimal coin that remains highly popular with collectors, especially when found in good condition. This particular year sits right in the heart of Britain's post-war era, a time of steady rebuilding and strong national identity, which adds to the charm and demand for this much-loved silver coin. The 1963 sixpence was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and represents one of the later issues of the traditional sixpence before decimalisation changed British coinage forever. By the early 1960s, the sixpence was already deeply rooted in everyday life, used for small purchases and even woven into British traditions such as weddings, Christmas puddings, and good luck charms. Coins from this period were still made to a high standard, and a 1963 example in good condition often shows clear detail, strong lettering, and an attractive age tone that collectors actively seek. On the head side of the coin, you'll find the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This elegant effigy shows the Queen facing right, wearing a laurel wreath, symbolizing continuity and stability. The surrounding inscription reflects the formal style of the time and remains crisp on well-preserved coins. On the tail side, the traditional crown design associated with the sixpence stands proudly, representing royal authority and long-standing British numismatic heritage. When both sides display balanced wear and readable detail, the coin becomes far more desirable on today's market. Culturally and historically, the 1963 sixpence holds a special place. It belongs to the final chapter of Britain's old currency system of pounds, shillings, and pence, which many people still remember with nostalgia. For collectors, owning a sixpence from this era is like holding a small piece of social history, reflecting a time when coins were more than just money and were deeply tied to daily life and national traditions. This emotional connection plays a big role in driving modern demand. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1963 sixpence weighs approximately 2.83 grams and has a compact size that feels distinctive in the hand. Earlier sixpences were struck in silver, and while later issues had reduced silver content, the metal composition still adds to the coin's appeal and collectible value. A good condition example often shows even wear without major scratches, corrosion, or damage, which is exactly what collectors look for when paying a premium. When we talk about rarity, the 1963 sixpence is not the rarest date, but its popularity and condition sensitivity make it highly competitive in the market. Many examples were heavily circulated, so finding one in genuinely good condition is becoming less common each year. This is why demand remains strong and prices continue to attract attention, especially among new collectors entering the hobby. Looking at the current market, a 1963 sixpence in good condition is often talked about as a surprisingly strong performer. In today's collector market, such a coin is frequently advertised with eye-catching values in the hundreds of pounds, commonly around £200 to £450 depending on overall eye appeal. In numerical terms, that places the coin roughly between £200 and £450, which translates to an estimated range of around $250 to $550. These figures create excitement and highlight why so many people are now checking their old coin collections and inherited change jars. For collectors, the key to maximizing value lies in careful handling and realistic expectations. Keeping the coin clean without over-polishing, storing it in a protective holder, and understanding genuine condition grades can make a noticeable difference. Demand is especially high for coins that show natural aging rather than harsh cleaning, as originality is highly valued in today's market. To sum up, the 1963 UK Sixpence in good condition is far more than a small pre-decimal coin. It represents history, tradition, and growing collector interest, all wrapped into a single piece of British heritage. With strong demand, attractive market prices often quoted in the hundreds, and a timeless design, this sixpence continues to capture attention and proves that even modest coins can shine brightly in the world of collecting. At number 3, sixpence dated 1954, a coin that many people once spent without a second thought, yet today captures strong attention from collectors, especially when found in genuine circulating condition. This small silver-colored coin may look modest, but its story, heritage, and growing collector demand make it far more exciting than its size suggests. The 1954 sixpence was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, at a time when Britain was adjusting to a new monarch and a changing post-war society. Sixpence coins were deeply woven into everyday life, used for small purchases, savings jars, and even traditions such as weddings and Christmas puddings. By 1954, the Royal Mint was producing coins that balanced tradition with modern minting standards, and this year sits comfortably in a period that collectors now view with nostalgia and respect. Coins from this era reflect a Britain rebuilding itself, holding on to heritage while stepping into a modern age. On the head side of the 1954 sixpence, you'll find the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This elegant and softly detailed effigy is widely admired, showing the Queen facing right with a calm and confident expression. Around the portrait, the Latin inscription proudly declares her title, reinforcing the authority and continuity of the monarchy. Even on circulating condition examples, this portrait often remains recognizable, which adds to the coin's visual appeal and collectability. Turning the coin over, the tail side displays the crowned interlinked letters forming the royal monogram, a design that symbolizes tradition, stability, and royal identity. The crown above the design represents sovereignty, while the bold numerals of the denomination anchor the coin firmly in Britain's monetary history. Despite years of handling, many 1954 sixpence coins still show strong outlines in this design, and collectors often appreciate the honest where that tells the story of a coin that truly did its job in circulation. Culturally and historically, the sixpence holds a special place in British life. It was associated with good luck, celebration, and everyday commerce for generations. The 1954 issue stands as a reminder of a time before decimalization, when British currency carried a rhythm and charm that many still remember fondly. For collectors, owning this coin is like holding a small piece of mid-20th century Britain, rich with social and historical meaning. In terms of physical details, the 1954 sixpence has a weight of approximately 2.83 grams and a compact diameter that makes it instantly recognizable. It was struck in a copper-nickel composition, giving it durability for circulation while retaining a bright, silvery appearance when well preserved. Even in circulating condition, the coin often feels solid and well-balanced in the hand, which adds to its enduring appeal. Some key facts make this coin particularly interesting to collectors today. It belongs to the early Elizabeth II coinage, features one of the most admired royal portraits, and comes from a year that bridges traditional designs with modern minting practices. While not impossible to find, original examples that have not been heavily damaged or cleaned are becoming increasingly desirable, especially as more people rediscover pre-decimal British coins. When it comes to rarity and condition, a 1954 sixpence in circulating condition is considered moderately scarce in the current market. Heavy wear, scratches, or fading naturally reduce value, but honest circulation wear can still be attractive to collectors who value authenticity. Coins with clear dates, readable inscriptions, and balanced wear are often in higher demand than those that are overly worn or poorly treated. Now let's talk about value, which is where excitement really builds. In today's collector market, a 1954 UK sixpence in circulating condition is often discussed with eye-catching price expectations. While everyday examples might trade lower, high-demand listings and enthusiastic buyers sometimes push prices into the hundreds of pounds. It's not unusual to see attention-grabbing figures such as £120, £180, or even £250 being quoted in optimistic collector circles. Converted into dollars, that places the value roughly between $150 and $320, depending on demand, presentation, and buyer interest. These figures are often used to highlight the strong appetite for classic British coins and the growing enthusiasm around sixpence collecting. For collectors, the key to maximizing interest and value lies in careful handling and knowledge. Keeping the coin in a protective holder, avoiding harsh cleaning, and understanding its historical background can all make a significant difference. Learning to appreciate natural wear rather than trying to make the coin look new often appeals more to seasoned collectors, who value originality above shine. In conclusion, the 1954 UK sixpence in circulating condition is far more than just old spare change. It represents history, culture, and a period of British life that continues to fascinate collectors around the world. With its elegant design, strong historical identity, and rising collector demand, this small coin carries big appeal. Whether you already own one or are thinking of adding it to your collection, the 1954 sixpence proves that even the most familiar coins can hold impressive stories and exciting value potential. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. At number 4, sixpence from 1966, a coin that many people still remember jingling in their pockets, yet one that has quietly gained attention among collectors. Even in a slightly dirty, circulated condition, this small silver-colored piece carries a charm that continues to excite the market, especially as interest in pre-decimal British coinage grows year after year. The 1966 sixpence belongs to the final chapter of Britain's pre-decimal currency system, produced just a few years before decimalization changed UK money forever. By the mid-1960s, the sixpence was already becoming a symbol of tradition rather than everyday necessity, yet it remained legal tender and widely used. This particular year sits right in that transition period, which adds to its appeal today. Coins from this era represent the closing moments of an old monetary world, and that sense of an ending often creates strong emotional and collector demand. On the front of the coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II immediately sets the tone. Designed by Arnold Machin, the youthful effigy shows the Queen facing right, wearing a simple laurel wreath that reflects dignity, stability, and continuity. The lettering around the portrait reinforces the authority of the monarch and the era she represents. Turning the coin over, the reverse proudly displays the crowned Tudor rose, a powerful national emblem symbolizing unity and the long history of England. This classic design is one of the most recognizable in British coinage and plays a major role in why the sixpence remains so loved today. Culturally and historically, the sixpence holds a special place in British life. It appeared in traditional songs, Christmas puddings, and wedding customs, often associated with luck and prosperity. By 1966, these traditions were deeply rooted, and owning a coin from this period feels like holding a small piece of everyday British history. Even a slightly dirty example tells a story of circulation, shopping trips, and countless hands passing it along, which many collectors actually find appealing rather than off-putting. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1966 sixpence was struck in cupronickel and weighs approximately 2.83 grams. Despite its small size, the coin feels solid and well-balanced, reflecting the high standards of the Royal Mint at the time. Its durability is one reason so many examples still survive today, even if they show light dirt or surface wear from decades of use. There are several key facts that continue to drive interest in this coin. It was minted during a year of significant social change in the UK. It carries one of the most iconic portraits of Queen Elizabeth II, and it represents a denomination that disappeared not long after. These factors combine to keep the 1966 sixpence firmly on collectors' radar, especially for those building sets of final-era pre-decimal coins. When it comes to rarity and condition, a 1966 sixpence in little dirty condition is not considered perfect, yet it is far from undesirable. In fact, circulated examples are often in higher demand among history-focused collectors who value authenticity. While mint-state coins attract premium buyers, circulated pieces like this one are seen as honest survivors, and demand remains strong as more people enter the hobby. Now to the part everyone waits for, the market value. In today's collector scene, a 1966 sixpence in lightly dirty, circulated condition is often talked about with impressive figures. Some sellers confidently place its value in the hundreds of pounds, commonly quoting prices around £250 to £450, written clearly as £250 to £450 depending on eye appeal and overall preservation. When converted for international interest, this places the coin roughly in the region of $320 to $570 US dollars, figures that certainly catch attention and fuel excitement, even if they are optimistic showcase values used to highlight demand. For collectors, this coin offers several advantages. It is affordable to enter compared to gold or silver rarities, it carries strong historical relevance, and it enjoys steady interest from both UK and overseas buyers. Keeping the coin safe from further damage, avoiding harsh cleaning, and storing it properly can help maintain its appeal. Even with some dirt present, originality often works in your favor, especially when the details remain clear. In conclusion, the 1966 UK sixpence is far more than a small, old coin with a bit of dirt on it. It is a symbol of Britain's past, a reminder of traditions now gone, and a piece that continues to attract high demand in the collector market. Whether you already own one or are thinking of adding it to your collection, this humble sixpence proves that history, nostalgia, and market excitement can come together in the palm of your hand. At last, we're turning our attention to a classic piece of British pocket history, the UK Sixpence from the year 1960. Even in a slightly faded condition, this small coin carries a big story and continues to generate strong interest among collectors and casual viewers alike. For many people, the sixpence is more than just spare change from the past. It represents tradition, ceremony, and a time when British coinage had a very distinctive character. Despite gentle wear and fading from circulation, examples like this are increasingly talked about as demand rises and fewer clean pieces remain available. The 1960 sixpence belongs to the final era of pre-decimal Britain, a period when everyday coins played a central role in daily life. By 1960, the sixpence was already deeply woven into British culture, often saved for weddings, lucky charms, or children's collections. This particular year was part of a stable minting period, Yet surviving coins tell different stories depending on how they were used. A little faded condition suggests real circulation, meaning this coin genuinely passed through countless hands, shops, and moments of ordinary British life, which many collectors actually find appealing rather than off-putting. On the front of the coin, the head features Queen Elizabeth II in her youthful portrait, a design that instantly dates the piece to the early decades of her reign. Even with some fading, the Queen's profile remains dignified and recognizable, symbolizing continuity and national identity. Turning to the reverse, the traditional crown design reflects the long-standing heritage of the sixpence, a style that had been familiar to Britons for generations. Together, the head and tail representation balances monarchy and tradition, giving the coin a visual authority that still feels relevant today. Culturally and historically, the sixpence holds a special place in British memory. It was once associated with good fortune, especially in wedding customs, and often kept as a keepsake rather than spent. The 1960 issue sits right in the middle of a changing Britain, bridging post-war recovery and the modern age. Physically, the coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and was struck in copper nickel, giving it durability, which explains why so many examples have survived, even if slightly faded. Its size and weight made it instantly recognizable in the pocket, something modern coins sometimes lack. When it comes to rarity and condition, a 1960 sixpence in little faded condition is not classed as ultra-rare, but demand has grown steadily as collectors look to complete year sets or focus on coins from the early Elizabeth II period. This growing interest has pushed conversation around value into exciting territory. In today's market, some optimistic valuations place this coin in the hundreds of pounds range, with figures such as £250, £380, or even £450 often mentioned in high-demand collector circles, written clearly as £250, £380, and £450. When converted for international audiences, these figures comfortably sit in the hundreds of dollars as well, adding to the global appeal and perceived investment potential of the coin. For collectors, the key is appreciation rather than perfection. A slightly faded sixpence like this should be stored carefully, handled minimally, and enjoyed for its history as much as its possible future value. Many experienced collectors believe that coins with honest wear often tell a better story and attract more attention over time, especially when public interest in pre-decimal British coins continues to rise. As more people rediscover these pieces, demand remains strong and sentiment stays positive. To wrap up, the 1960 UK sixpence in little faded condition stands as a powerful reminder that even modest coins can command serious attention. Its historical background, elegant design, cultural importance, and growing market buzz all combine to give it a high-demand presence among collectors today. Whether you see it as a nostalgic keepsake or a potential value-driven collectible, this small coin continues to prove that British numismatic history still shines, even when gently faded by time. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. Thanks for watching World Numismatic Finds. If you enjoyed this greedy comparison of rare UK sixpence coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because the next valuable coin might already be hiding in your pocket.